Hello, hello. And we are back. Day 81 of 100. Slowly edging our ways to the end. And we're gonna continue straight off the bat with our Pomodoro clock. And just wrap up all the functionality and hopefully pass all the tests. That's the objective for tonight. I think from user 22, I think, there was something that I was missing. Dollar Dreams, hey, welcome back. So we need to make sure that when the countdown reaches 0 and a new countdown begins, should display a string indicating a session has begun. When a break countdown, oh. Okay, so we need to take into account that we are on a break. Okay, so how do we do this? So we have running, true. Oh, we could just check task, what the current task is, right? So when we update time, this needs to indicate, so when the time is up, we do play a sound, don't we? Where's the little sound thing that we had? When a countdown reaches 0. Okay, we already have that. Okay, so when the time is up, and we don't want to stop the timer, do we? It should be break. So here, if the time has been reached, we should probably update the state. So we're going to set state of task to be break. Because what do we have? We have session, I think, right? So we're going to have break here. And then we're going to play the sound. And we're going to stop the timer. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. Then it needs to automatically start a new timer, that's the thing. Let's create a new one. Literally call it start timer. This should work. Same as the other one. And all we have in here is this.timer. Wait, where did it go again? Alright, in there. So this one has this.timer is set interval, this.update time 1000, this.set state, running to true. So we want to call start timer here. Problem is we don't want to actually we don't want to set running off to false. If we reset the timer, we just want to it's not really a stop timer. Well, there is a stop timer, but this is not the case. I guess we should have switch task. Is it called a task in my state? Yeah, it is called a task. And all we do is flip them around. If this .state task is session, then we're going to set state task to break. So if this .state is session, we're going to set task to break. Else, we need to update this .set state. So actually what we need to do here is have a variable. Let task, we're just going to initialize it there. If this .state task is session, we're going to have task be break. Else, task is going to be session. And then we can update task with the task. Not confusing at all. Hopefully that works. So then we will be switching tasks. So if the current task is a session, it will be a break. If it's a break, it will be a session, because we need to obviously switch the tasks when a timer is up. So what happens when a timer is up? We are going to call switch task. Then we're going to play the sound. And then we're not going to stop the timer. We need another logic. We're not going to stop the timer. We need to change that somehow. Okay, I guess we can update the time here. So we have let time, and then time is going to equal this .state for a break. This .state break length. We're gonna have break length here, and we're gonna times that by 60, yeah, to get in minutes. Else time here at the bottom for session is going to be session length. Because then all we do is we update task with that task, and we update seconds with time. Or should I call it seconds? I think we're going to call it seconds just to keep with it being the same. Okay. So then that should theoretically work. So when we get into switch task, if the current task is session, we're going to now switch it to break. And we're going to change seconds to break length times 60. So then in the end, we're just calling one set state, which is task is going to be task, and seconds is going to be whatever the second is. I wonder if I need to add an if statement to check as long as the values are not like undefined or whatever, but I think it should be fine. So then all we should need is this .switch task, and then it will just infinitely run. And then obviously when the time is up, it plays timeup.play. But I'm wondering if we should... I think we should play the sound first and then switch the task. There we go. Let's see if that works now. And let's set this to 5, by the way, just to obviously do our test. So we should start with 5 seconds. And then it should switch from, this will say session, and then it will be break, and then it'll take however long the break is. Let's go, see what happens. 4, 3, 2, 1. Played the song, and there we go. We're getting a 5-minute timer for break now. Current task is break from session. Great, but we're not going to wait 5 minutes to find out what happens. So first, let's make sure that we can pause this. And we can resume it, and when we resume, it continues the break. It does continue the break. And if I reset it, it resets to session. Great. Now let's go and make the default break be, you know, few seconds. Where do we do that? And I'll switch task here. So if it's break, sessions is gonna be, seconds is gonna be also 5 seconds. So let's see what happens. It should literally just do every 5 seconds. Let's go. So, start, 5 seconds. We're currently running a session. Time's up. Okay, there's only one problem here, and that's that it, I didn't see it update break here, or did I miss it? Current task is session, done, but it didn't change that to break. It updated it in our log, hold on. We're missing something somewhere. Aren't you supposed to show what the task is? Over here? Where's session? That's session length. Where's session itself? There, session. Oh, because it actually physically says session. It's not actually based on state. This does state the task. That's why. What's in session and break length? Forgot. Anyway, this should update now. Okay, start. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Then we're on a break. And the break's done. And now we're going back to a session. Perfect, it seems to be working great. It obviously went back to 25 because that's our default session length. You know what I want to change? Just to make sure. I'm gonna change default break to 0.1 and default session to 0.1 as well. I want to make sure that switches between them, like over and over by itself. There's something else I wanted to check, but we'll go with that for now. So start. There we go. Okay, it's on a break. We'll go to a session. Now we're doing a session. Let's pretend that's 25 minutes. 25 minutes is up. We're on a break again. I know it's very quick, 25 minutes. 6 seconds. We're on a break. We're on a session. Are you guys learning anything? Come on, this is our Pomodoro. 6 sessions learning. 6 seconds of learning. What did you guys learn in 6 seconds? Okay, so there's the break. Perfect. Wonderful stuff. Amazing. So it's just going to keep going by itself. Or if we stop it right on that last second, can we get it to break? Timer running false. Current task break. Start stop. Oh no! Did we actually break it? We actually broke it. Like, I was just joking, but we actually... We broke it! So if it's on a break and we try to stop it and start it, we break it. Oh dear, why? Let's go look at our logic. Initialize timer. What is the requirements? Seconds must not be undefined. State must not be running. Okay, it's not that. If this.state.seconds is greater than 0. Oh, that's why we literally stopped it on 0. So we can make this break at any point if you stop on 0. Why did it start on a break? What the fuck? Reset should take it back to... The current task should go back to session, shouldn't it? When we hit reset... Wait, what are the requirements? I'm pretty sure that was part of the requirements, wasn't it? Where's the thing about reset, start, stop? I'm sure it said something about reset though. And the element with time left should reset to its default state. It doesn't say anything about the task, so I think I'm just going to add it for myself. So under reset, we have running. So task is going to become undefined. There we go. So that should fix that at least. Okay, so let's try this. If I stop my time on 0, we break it. Let's just confirm by testing again. So when we get it to exactly 0, and we stop it, okay? If we try to continue, it's not going to work. There we go. Okay. So we managed to successfully break the break. Hey! Forgetful Isaac! Hey! How's it going? So I know why that's happening, and that's simple. It is because our requirements are as long as it's not running, as long as state is not undefined for seconds, as well as long as seconds is greater than 0, we can start the timer. The problem is, if you got it on exactly 0, if you somehow magically stopped it on 0, you can't start it again. It's not going to start the timer. So this has to be greater than equal to 0 for us to be able to start a timer. So hopefully that will fix that behavior that we saw. Let's try it again. We're going to stop it on 0. Make sure no weird things happen. 0, stop it. Okay, we stopped it on 0. It's still on a session. Seconds remaining is 0, and timer is not running. When I hit start, hopefully it's going to switch to break. Does. There we go. Goes from session to break. And now you guys have a bit of time to work. Cool. Start it again. Okay guys, you got 5 seconds to work. Get ready, do your work. Okay, stop what you're doing. You got 6 seconds. No, I mean you got 6 seconds to work now. Sorry, let's do it the other way around. And take a break. You guys got 5 seconds. Let's go. There you go. Maybe floss one of your tooths. Okay, now work for 6 seconds. Come on, crunch those numbers, guys. It's amazing. Absolutely incredible. Okay, now take a break. Catch a breather. Maybe you can open up your can of soda quickly. Don't think you have enough time to take a sip. And back to work we go. Imagine living in a world like that. Okay, it works. Wait, I want to test it. What happens if we try to stop it on 0 when it's on a break? Because this is... Wait, what? It's a session now? Hold on. Stop. Stop on 0. Start on 0. It's on a break now. Stop on break. Stop on break. Continue. Perfect. Okay, so when I started... Oh, when I started it... Okay. Interesting. So here's what we're missing. The task doesn't get updated after we reset it. Because what do we initialize in state? We initialize the default length. What are we resetting? We're resetting seconds. And we're setting the break length and session length to the defaults that the user has specified. Seconds is going back to nothing, task is going back to nothing, and running is false. So the only thing that we're missing from this is setting the task. So what I'm thinking is maybe... Can we set this to none? Set this to none. And then we're going to have task here, because I think it's a bit confusing. If it just says break or whatever. So we're going to do a little bit of improvisation. Where do I have this? Task. Where's task? Where did I... Oh, there's task. So I'm going to specify task, and then this.state.task. So it should be none when you start it. And then when we start a timer, wait, where's the best place to do this? Because we're setting tasks to break in session here when we switch tasks. But we're not switching a task yet, so where can we update that? Initialize timer? If it's not already running, I guess we could do it here where we set seconds. Yeah, perfect. So we could set task to session. And seconds to 5. That should then give us what we want.
X is following the family.
Ordux! Hey! Thank you so much for the follow, I really appreciate that. I appreciate you. Forgetful Isaac, after reset you don't have session... Yeah, sorry. I just noticed that now. Thanks for spotting that. Okay, so we got task none. Now task is session. After those few seconds, it's going to switch to break. We get our little alarm. After those few seconds of break, we switch back to session. Perfect. It's working wonderfully. When we reset... Oh, okay, here's something. When we reset, we forgot to set it to none. So where do we reset? Under here, instead of undefined, we're going to set it back to our initialized value, which is none. Just wondering, is there a better way of doing this? If none... Yeah, no, there isn't a better way. Let's do it this way. We working on React? Yes! A little React app we got here. Okay, so we're on session, and if I stop it on exactly 0, and I continue, it should still switch over to break. There we go. And if I stop it on 0, well, on 0, it should now continue to session still. Great stuff. If I hit reset while it's busy, it should switch to none. Brilliant stuff. Everything is working as it should. Amazing. Cool. So I think that's all the functionality right there, huh? I'm just going to have to go double check on the requirements, but I think we've got that covered. I want to see if I can neaten this up now, because I added quite a few extra things to our initialized timer. Because now we've got stop timer and we've got start timer, which is great stuff. That makes it a whole lot neater than it was before. I don't like this bunch of ifs here, to be honest. We need, as long as the state is not running, that's how we know to stop and start it. Wait, why does it matter if the state is running or not? We just flip the state. If not this.state.running, start the timer, I'll stop the timer. Why is that necessary? The running part, if it's running or not. I added it for a reason, but now I'm wondering, like, is it needed? Every time you hit the button, either start the timer or stop the timer. I guess it was just an extra check, huh? Why did I have that? There must be a reason. We were checking if state is running. But now we just call start timer. Start timer is literally just if we have more than or if we have greater than or equal to 0 seconds, we can run at least one update and set running to true. Else, we stop the timer, and stop the timer basically just clears that timer and sets the running state to false. So why do I need that if statement? It makes me wonder. I don't think we need it, do we, guys? We need to know how many seconds we're obviously going to run for. But that should be when you start it. So this is the trigger. You click on that to start the timer. And as long as seconds are not undefined, we can update the seconds. That I get. But the other check? Mr. Snappy, hey. How's it going? There's a professor? Isaac? Benjamin, hey. So many people. Okay, so I don't think we need the running state, and this is what's bothering me. I really do not think we need it. Oh, that's for the trigger. I get what I was doing now. If it's running, when you start it, then stop it. Otherwise, if it's not running, start it. I get what I was doing. Never mind. That makes sense now. Oh, you thought it was Snape? Mr. Snape? Mr. Potter. I get what you're doing there. I see what you did. I see what you were doing. So by default it should say session though, apparently. So I think we would fail here because it wants it to be session. Okay, let's start fixing things one by one before I optimize all of this. So we're going to change seconds to the same code that it was before, which is session length times 60 to get session length. And then for breaks, it's going to be this.state.break length times 60. Okay, so that should be all of that. So this should go back to normal now. And if I change breaks to 10 minutes and sessions to 20 minutes, when I start, this should start at 20. It should update the session, well, the task to session. Let's wait 20 minutes, guys. I'll see you back in 20 minutes. I'm just kidding. Okay. And then obviously fix the defaults that I changed over here. Default break length is, I think it was 5 and 25. Wait. What did I have here for default break? Why would I repeat them? I don't think I would have repeated them. 5 and 25. What did I have for default? That makes no sense. Why would it be 5 and 25 and 5 and 25 again? Default is 5. Session length is 25. When a component mounts, we should be setting break length. Was it really like this whole time? I can't remember. That just seems weird. And I could set it to this.state, but obviously state is being updated now. So I think this was how it was. I just clearly must have forgotten about it. I'm a Harry Potter fan, but it's just my online name and not related. Yeah. You gotta go now? Forgetful Isaac? Thanks for dropping by. I really appreciate it. Okay, so resetting it resets back to 5 and 25. I think we're going to fail this one. Let's start passing these tests, shall we? Let's see everything. Oh, Jesus, look at that. That was crazy. It's doing a whole lot of different stuff. Stopping and starting our timer. That's so cool. I love seeing this. How were we passing that many and then failed so many at the same time? Okay, let's start fixing the problems here, shall we? Okay, first I'm gonna copy and paste this out of here because I don't want to run it again and wait. I want to fix them all. So let me plop this into a little Word document. Oh my god, this, okay. Okay, so the issue here is number 5. I can see an element with corresponding ID break length, which by default on load displays a value of 5. What do we have for break length? It is 5. On load, what do we set for break length though? So where's break length here? This is... Oh. Wait, this is confusing. No wonder. I think I mixed some stuff up. That's the break label. That's the break length. I was adding break length in the break label. Okay. So that should be break length. And then in the actual div that says break length should be this .state.break length. Okay. And then session length, exact same thing. Session label and session length. There we go. Okay, so that should solve that problem. What's the other issue we have? I can see an element with corresponding ID of session length, which by default displays a value of 25. I think I messed that one up as well. Session length and session label. Session label is there. Session length by default should display 25. Okay. This .state.session length, and session length should be by default 25. When we start the component, session length is 25. Is it session hyphenated length? Expected blank to be 25. What did it do? Okay, maybe that's related to the other issues. Let's continue. Timer. When I click the element with ID of reset, any running timer should be stopped. The value within ID of break length should return to 5. The value within ID session length should return to 25. And the element ID with time left should return to its default state. So time left. Okay, I think the issue for that again was because of those missing the elements basically. I think that will be fine. When I click the element with ID of break decrement, the value... Okay, I think all of these, we're going to have to run this test again because a lot of this is because of the previous issue. And then this one, audio. The audio element with ID of beep must stop playing and be rewound to the beginning when the element with the ID of reset is clicked. Okay, so that's some point off. When we go to reset, we're going to target the time up element. And we're basically going to do stop the timer, stop the sound. So time up dot stop. And then there was a command for it. I can't remember exactly what it was. But it was time up dot, I think, start. I don't think it was start. There was something specific. I had to do it with my drum machine. Let's actually go take a peek at our drum machine code. Oh, it was current time, right? So it's time up dot current time equal to 0. Was it that? Dot current time. Yeah. Okay, so that will reset the time back to 0. So that should solve that issue. Okay, now that we've done... Okay, that's pretty much all of it. So let's go run our tests again after we've brought this back. And run the tests again and see, do we pass them a bit better this time? Time up dot stop. Hold on. Did we miss the... Wait, what? Time up dot stop. But I'm pretty sure you can stop it. Was it not stop because play? How do you stop? Oh, is it pause? Is there no stop? That's interesting. So it's play and pause, not stop. You can't actually stop. So that's, I guess, why you have to rewind it back to 0. Okay, so it's time up dot pause. And then rewind the current time. Okay. That should then give us something. Cool. So let's run our tests again. We gotta pad those numbers now. Uh-oh, the operation was aborted. Come on, let us pass those tests. 26. 29? Did we do it? Did we pass it? All 29 tests? Hey! I was like sweating a little bit there, not gonna lie. It took a bit of a while. Why did it take 244 milliseconds? And almost 1.5 seconds to... Okay, it needed to test that every 1000 milliseconds, so that makes sense. I think these were just part of the test. It was waiting. How long was it waiting for? That's pretty smart how they did these tests, actually. It's a promise. Ah. Well, there we go. We passed all our tests. Virani! Hey! And thanks, Mr. Snappy. I appreciate it.
Mr._Snappy is following
Hey! Mr. Snappy, thank you so much for the follow. I really appreciate it. That was... What was? You saw that? Were you watching that? Virani? Cool. Mr. Snappy, thank you. I really appreciate it. I hope you end up enjoying whatever it is that you're going to get up to. And have fun. Virani, are you done with these projects? Well, I still want to pretty it up, obviously. I'm going to leave that for tomorrow. I didn't have much time today. So tomorrow I'm going to pretty this up. I wanted to get the logic out of the way. You know me. Get everything working and functional first, then make it look pretty. As far as I can tell, my own tests, there were no issues. And now according to FCC's test suite, there are no issues either. We passed all the tests. So I think we're done. Unless there's something specific I want to add. I mean, you got the functionality here. You can add the break length and the session length. Obviously, these are in the wrong place. That will be quick to fix with the flex. task is none. When you start it, it's session. When you reset it, it becomes none. It's pretty. Oh yeah, the one functionality I wanted to add. Hopefully, I can add it now quickly. I want these to be editable, and I think if you add editable, the editable tag, if I'm not mistaken, it allows you to edit an element. I just want to see that. So is this. How do you... Yeah, okay. So then we just have to check when that value is changed. Unless... I don't want to make it an input. That's the thing. It's supposed to be... I want it to be kind of a thing that you don't really expect. You know what I mean? Followed you. Why is it not popping up? Oh, because you followed me before, Benjamin. So you can't like unfollow and then refollow me. Let's give it a test first. I want to see how that's going to work. So let's find the elements that we want, which is break length and session length. Let's just see how this is going to work. And depending on how hard that's going to be, we can make it change. Oh, so look at that. But I don't think without changing anything this is going to count. I don't think React is actually going to see these changes. Yeah, okay, so it doesn't see them. So we just have to do an on change. And I want to see if it can trigger an on change because it's not an input. That's the thing. So I don't know how... Like at this point in time, I might as well just turn it into an input field. I just want to see if on change will work. I doubt it's going to work, but this.test. We're just going to have a function called this.test, and we're just going to throw a log in here. It works! Because this will be something new for me if this works. Because I know how to do input fields, but I've never worked with editable before. Okay, so let's see if it works. I change 5 to 6. Oh, you have the other downside, which is you can freaking add other stuff. Okay, yeah, and we just open up a whole can of worms here. Because there's no content checking or anything. I think we're going to have to stick to an input field, to be honest. Either that or just ignore it, which I don't want to do. Let's see how much of a mission it's going to be for an input field. So what do we currently have? Do we have a handle change? Yes, we do. So handle change basically calls the handlers with the specific ID. And it sets the break length to plus equal to 1 or minus equal to 1 every time you press the button. But if you don't press the button, we need another handle change. So we can use the actual handle change actually. And all we do is update state in whatever the value is inside of there. Yeah. So we're going to do that. So let's first see if we can change this to an input. So we're not going to have this content editable. Wait, what was that? Okay. On change, this.test, that's fine. We're going to change the div to a input. Just for the one. The styling is going to be awful now, but it's fine. Oh, we got an error. Why? Did I break something now? Oh, geez. Why is it calling... Why is it calling that? Oh. Where's my input? I can't see it. There it is. Wait, why? Why are we getting that error? Why if it's an input? Input ID. Wait, can inputs have opening and closing tags? Well, I mean, React needs them. Didn't I have an input somewhere here? Where did I have an input in one of my projects? The calculator doesn't use one. I don't think any of mine. I think inputs can't have closing tags. I can't remember exactly. I don't think they do. So this has to be all like... So we do default value is going to be this.state.breakLength. I think that's the issue. I'm not sure entirely. Yeah, okay. Okay, there you go. Yeah, okay, cool. So that's working. We're obviously going to fix that up. Because I personally feel you shouldn't have to click like freaking 50 times to adjust it. You should just be able to change the value. But I don't think this is still not going to take into account the session length. Yeah, it's not. So on change, so we've got our input. Where's our input? Why do I keep losing it? There it is. And then we're going to have an on change. It's going to trigger this dot handle change. And then in handle change, besides the usual things that we check for, we're going to have another one which is just update the value. But how do we know which one it is? We have the ID of it. The ID is going to be break length. So if event.target.id is break length, I'm going to change the name of this variable now, just temporarily going to use val there. And then val is going to equal event.target. I think it's value. I think we can use value. Either value or inner HTML. But I think since it's an input, we should be able to use value. And then the else is going to be the other one, which is break session length. Event.target.value. Actually, why are we doing that? We could just set val to event.target.value anyway from the get-go. So let val equal to event.target.value. We just obviously have to take into account what happens when you press the buttons, because the buttons won't have a value and we're going to error out. But that is fine. All we then have to do is we need to convert these break length to break length and session length to session length. We could use a bit of regex and remove the hyphen and capitalize the L, but I think that's going to be too much effort, so we're just going to have a variable here called state value, and this is what we're going to update. So state value is equal to, if it's break length, that is break length, else it is session length, like that, and state val. And then here at the end, we're going to update set state. Oops. To the state val, whatever state val is, and whatever val is. Obviously I gotta rename these variables. But that should in theory be the logic we need for this to work. If the event.target.id is break length, the state that you need to target is break length, else it's session length, and then set state, the state value, and value. That should be all I need. So let's see if that works. Okay, so it's 5 now. If I change this to 2, this.handler.id is not a function. And the reason for that is it's trying to call it. This.handler's ID is not a function. Okay, because of the wrong event here. So how do we differentiate between this? Wait. When we press this, do we know it's a button? The event is for an object. It's a click. And the target is a button. We know that. So wait, it's actually, we just check on click, I think. Wait, what happens if we hit spacebar for people that... Does that count as a click too? Oh, it does. So any input, any interaction on a button counts as a click. So, okay, simple. If... Wait. Oh. No, you know what? I'm not going to do it this way. I'm not going to go and butcher this entire thing. Handle change is fine. But you know what it should be? This should be handle click. This should be handle click. So change all instances to handle click. And this should be handle change. We're just gonna rather have 2 separate ones, and I've learned from experience, don't try to have like a jack of all functions. Have them separate. So there's handle click, here's handle change. And then we need one for handle click. Need to bind that. And this is handle change. This.handle change is equal to this.handle change dot bind this. This.handle click is equal to this.handle click dot bind this. Perfect. Then here at the end, this is going to be handle... Oh, did I call it handle change now? What happened to handle input? Did my mind just automatically... This needs to become handle input. There we go. And make sure that's fine. So handle change, handle input, handle input. At the end, when this is handle input, great. This is handle click, that's handle click, this is handle click, that's handle click. Perfect. So now we're separating the logic so much better. And there we go. This.handle change. Where are we still calling this.handle change? The hell? I thought I renamed. No, this is handle click. Okay. No more results. That should be the last of the handle changes. Okay. So incrementing and decrementing changes it. Great stuff. Now if I change this to a 1, it should call handle, what do you call it? It should call the function, and when I start this should be 1, but it's not. Okay. Now let's figure out why. So handle input is the value is event.target. Okay, so first do we get here? Secondly, what is value? Those are the 2 things we need. Do we get to that function? And what is the value of val? We do get there. It's now 53. It's now 5. It's now empty. It's now 4. It's now 45. You know what I just realized? It's a string. Or at least it looks like a string. And that might be the issue. So it literally did nothing, so it didn't update state. Why? So after all of that, if the event.target.id... Oh, let's see what the target ID is. Target ID... And also... Okay. Try to figure out where we are in this. Because I have a rough idea. Okay, we do value 53. Target ID is break length. Here 2 times. So we do get there. So we do get here. State value. And then we call this .set state. State value. So break length. Is break length not valid? It is. To the value of val, which is 53 in that case. So it should have set it to 53. But why didn't it? Okay, let's log, what was it? Log, debug? I want to know what's happening. I want to call debug straight afterwards to see what the value of state is. Maybe it is updating it and something's resetting it. This is for break length, right? 2 times is for break length, yes. Break length is not changing. Still 5. Why? What? Okay. That's very interesting. Only thing I can think of is because it's not seeing it as a integer. So maybe let's pass int val, because that it almost looks like it's outputting as a string, but that doesn't make sense because the imagine the input from a input field is actually a string. Okay, no, it's still not changing anything. Break length is still 5. So what's the logic? We get into the event, we get in here, we set state val to break length. Okay, hold on. What is state val afterwards? Did I get scopes wrong again? Please tell me that was it. No, it's break length. State value is break length. Oh, okay, because it's a string. I think that's what's going on here. Okay, we need to create an object. This is going to be return val. That's basically going to be an object, break length, with, that's the key and the value is going to be val. That's probably what we need. Can you stop? Because we're returning a string. So we got return val, and then all we do is log return value. And then state, this dot set state, we just give it return val, which should be the object that it needs. Oh, it is break length and 523, but it's not updating break length. Ah, it's an object. So confused. Oh, once an object. Here, take the object. Just take return val. There you go. I'm passing an object in an object. Now? Yes! Working, except it's delayed by 1. So when I add something now, it doesn't see it until the next time it sees it. Okay, but we're getting somewhere at least. This is good. This is great. We're making progress. Why is it delayed though? We get the event. The moment you enter something, it calls the event. Okay. So let's add a value here and I put 1 in. It sees 1. It sees 2. Wait, it sees it here. As I'm typing it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So why is it delayed in state? Oh, imagine it's just a debug call. That's why. Could it be the debug call? It's a bit delayed? Maybe, but let's first fix it so that it returns val as a string. Oh, sorry, as a integer, not a string, which it currently is. I just want to see if it's my log misbehaving or something else. Okay, so right now it's 5. Now it's 1. 1 now. So if I start on 1. Oh wait, that was for break length though, we'll never know. Actually, we will know. I'm gonna set it to 5. It's on 55 now, right? Start, stop, break length should show 55. It does. Okay, it's just my logs, thank God. My logs are messing up. Okay. Okay. Just my logs. So what's wrong with my logs? Should I call this .debug when it's done, like last time when I had to set state? Is that maybe what I need to do? Maybe. 5, gonna add a 1. 51. Not calling it. Debug's not firing. Wait, so it's this dot set state return val. Oh, do I have to put it inside of here like that? I think it's like that. So not used to all these new things you can. React's pretty amazing. There we go. 52, 50. There we go. There we go. I needed the callback. Callback's working perfectly now. Dollar Dreams, you off? Thank you so much for dropping by. I really appreciate it. Hope you picked up something new. We need to reset the input of this when we click on reset as well. When we click on reset, where's reset? Reset. So this can be removed. Document.get element by ID. The break length that we input. That was break length. So break length and session length is document.getElement by session length, and then all we're going to do is, after we've set our state, we also need to wipe them. So break length dot value equal to this dot state dot is break length, and session length super long one. Oh wait, we called it session. There we go. Session length dot value is this dot state dot session length. That should then reset the inputs as well when we hit on reset. Okay, so I hit 5, 3, 4, 2. If I hit reset, there we go. It's back to 5. Yes. Perfect. Okay, let's fix up my little function now and then add the missing session length as well to it. So we know we get in here, so we don't need that. We know about these console logs, so we don't need them. We don't need that console log, we don't need that console log, nor do we need that one. Okay, that neatens it up a bit. Now let's name our variables. What is this? Input value. So we can call it input value. Is passing event.target.value. And then should it be state value? Just call it state value. And then if event.target.id is equal to break length, state value is break length input value. Our state value is session length input value, and then this.set state value, and then call back on this.debug. That's all we need, and then let's do the same for the session length. This is now going to become an input. And this also, there's going to be no ending for it. This is going to be a part of it, but I'm going to set the default value to equal this.state.session length. And also add an on change, which is going to be this dot handle input. Oops, there we go. The break length, this.state.break length is the default value. Session length, default value is this.state.session length. I don't know if this is going to break our thingy. I guess we'll find out. So got 5. So if I enter 52 and 251 session length, we obviously got to cap these, by the way. That's the other thing I forgot. But it works otherwise. And resetting them resets them as well. Perfect. There is limits to these. So they are input. Wait, you could set type number, I think, right? Is it type? Was it type number? I can't remember. Input type. I'm gonna have to double check that just to be sure. Yeah, it is. But then why don't we just have that? Instead of instead of the buttons, because they want us to have buttons. This is like the weirdest thing ever. Why can't we just use the buttons? For increment and decrement. Why did we, I mean the buttons on the input, why did we need actual specific buttons? Because you see, you need a corresponding ID, break, decrement, session decrement, or whatever. So you can't obviously map those to those specific buttons because this is a single input. So we're going to have to hide those buttons basically. Or, no, I want it to be number, but we're going to have to hide the this is so annoying. Why have they done this? That's fine. Remove the typing away. We're gonna have no type, but we are gonna set a min. Is it min or min length? I can't remember now. I think it was min. Min equal to 1. Max equal to 60. See if that works. Because then we shouldn't be able to enter numbers greater than that. No, we still can. Was it max length? It's a min value. Can't remember what the exact... What's min or max? Or does it have to be a number? Type needs to be a number. Is that why? Let's see. Min? No, it's just min and max. Oh, does it have to be a number? That's probably... Ah, it's so annoying. Okay. Type number min max 160. Let's give that a try again. That was for break length, yeah. I can still go over. What the hell? Did we save this? Reload. Can I still go over? I can. How's that in min length? I mean, it errors. Oh, if you use this, it won't let you go over. No, come on, don't tell me I have to go and use my script now. My other project. Out comes the log formatter. I have a specific case just for this. Check min value, but it's so freaking... Oh my god. Wait, all we need is... If it's less than 1, but that'll be... Wait, did I also use input element? Did I name it the same thing? Oh, I used input value. Oh, it's the same. That's input element.value. I could have just had one, yeah. Okay, so less than... So we literally replace. But I want to put it to the max of it. How do we... That would just replace it, which defeats the purpose. I want it to be, if you hit 666 or whatever, it will... Okay, hold on. I think I know. Yeah, okay. It's going to be a combination of this. So let min equal to 1. Let max equal to 60. And then we get the input value and we basically check if input value is greater than max, then input value should become max. Else, do I have a case for min? I can't do an else here. I need to do a check less than min, because otherwise anything that's not max will be min. So we need an else if. Else if input value is less than min, input value equal to min. Can you actually set, can I set 0 here? I can. And obviously it will error there in HTML. But I won't do anything about it. And I can set -1. So if it's less than... Wait, can I enter? I didn't realize. Can I enter strings here and stuff? Oh god, I can. Oh, that's why I have the script now. Perfect. So if input value is greater than max, input value is max. Else if input value is less than min, input value is min. So that will filter the numbers, but now we also need to filter out anything that's not a number. I think this will work. This will give us only numbers. So it should be event.target.value .replace and then pass that as an integer. Hopefully that works now. See? If I remember correctly, this will strip everything. Oh, it's not triggering right now. What the? Oh, it's ignoring it. That's why. Ignores it if it's not. I needed to remove it. This replaces negatives. Oh, that's why. Okay. Replace anything that's not a number. Blank, I think. No? Still? Let me go to my regexer. I haven't used it in a while. Might be a bit rusty, but I was pretty sure that is... What is our regex? Our regex is... D, and we also have flags, case insensitive. It is GI, isn't it? GI, yes it is. So that matches everything that's a word. So if I had numbers in here, it wouldn't match numbers. Oh, that's probably... Okay, it's not matching because I didn't start with a... But it shouldn't matter. Wherever the numbers are, it should... This should match every non-digit character. We're using replace? We are. We're saying take the value and replace everything that's not a number with blank. Wait, let's maybe not pass it as an integer. Maybe that's an issue. I want to log input value. Going on. Let's go. Okay, so 5, 5, add 2, add a D. Oh, now it's blank. So that's why nothing's happening, because it's freaking blank. Oh, it's replacing the entire thing. I thought it was just... Oh, that's not working the way I thought it would work. I thought it would just... I thought it would give us everything less. Obviously the... There's not replace that I need. Is it match? Let me check up match again. I think it's match. And replace everything that matches with a... Why don't... Does match work that way? I need match and replace, don't I? I think that's the thing. I need to match those things and then replace the match I think I have to use a match and a replace. Yeah. Okay, so here's how it's going to be. Event.target.value.match everything that is not a number, and then replace that match. And use replace just like that. Wait, that first part. Okay, hold on. Let's take this. The first part needs to be a little bit complex. Okay, so it's actually replace first, and then in the first argument, we're gonna have match. Not on my mind right now. This is a string though, right? Yeah, that was a string. That's... Oh! Hold on, maybe that's why it didn't work the first time. So if I use replace now... Our regex... That it? I think that's it. Let's just try this now. Supposed to return the actual value. So 52, 52D. Oh. Okay, but the moment... Okay, I see what's happening. It returns the entire thing blank. It doesn't strip them. That was the issue. But the value will still be there. It will just... I want to test something. Input value dot replace. Remove... Okay. Might be because it's all in one call. 5, 5, 2 is fine. Add the D. And now everything is blank. Why? It shouldn't be completely blank. Please don't tell me it's because of the I. No, it's not. Thankfully. Okay, so it just makes it completely blank, which doesn't make sense to me. Or do I need a double? Input value plus equal to event.target.value.replace. Like that. What I was missing all along? Why can I use plus equal to again? Wait, I should be able to do input value plus equal to. Oh, but I can't do. Okay, that's why I was having the issue. Input value equal to input value dot replace. Where's my replace? I don't know why that extra step would make a difference. Just want to see. No, it's still the same. That would have worked the first time. It treats it as a string every time. Because that is a string. Add a non-digit and suddenly everything is blank. Hey Flash, how's it going? Sorry. Just trying to. Oh man. I was pretty sure that was gonna get it this time. So we get the numbers each time, but adding a non-number wipes the entire value as an empty string. What have I done differently? So we get the string. And then we're replacing every non-number with a blank, but the numbers should still be there. But why is everything blank? Hold on. I want to know type of input value. Is it actually a string? Yeah. What am I doing? Just trying to implement functionality to my Pomodoro clock so that it strips non-string values. And right now, when I add a string, breaks. Well, it doesn't break, it just wipes everything, which it shouldn't be doing. It should return the value without the numbers, you know what I mean? Oh my god. All non-digits. Why do you paste the code in CodePen every time? Because that's where we're currently running it due to the tests that are running the test suite. And I, for the life of me, will not work in CodePen. So the very least I'm gonna do is edit in VS Code. I need to rethink this. So that is a string. At least we know we're getting a string. I, for the life of me, can't figure out why my replace is not working. So I'm going to try something else. I'm going to try match and then join. So we can do the input value dot match every digit, and then we can join by every character. Let's see what that gives us. Yeah, every time it reset. Oh! How could I not figure that out sooner? It's because we have this freaking thing as a number. Type number. I had this. Firefox has this thing where the moment you change the type to a number, even though you can input. Okay, so in Chrome, if this is a type of number, you will not be able to put in characters. Non-alpha numerics. Like by default, it will just stop you from doing this. In Firefox, it allows you to do it. And then worse yet, when you try to check the values and do something on them. Okay. In short, my code was working fine. Firefox is bugged in that it doesn't prevent you from... Why is this still an issue? Firefox doesn't respect the input types type. So if it's set to number and you try to enter letters, for example, it won't stop you. So bug feature, call it as you will. That's the reason why we couldn't do anything, because JS can't pick it up because it becomes null somehow, somewhere down the line. But at least we figured that out now. Yay! And now I can undo all of my code to the part where it was actually working beautifully the first time. So all of that, it was just that. Cool. So let's remove the typing on this. We don't even need a min or max anymore because that's all going to be done by the script now. We should be able to put 1E3. I don't know. I haven't actually seen how Chrome does that. All I know is that you can't enter letters at all. But it's fine. We're gonna just we're gonna take the raw data and we're gonna process it ourselves. So now I should be able to enter 5223. Oh, but we're not logging anymore because I went way past. Okay, so let's get log input value. Input value. There we go. Okay. So I should be able to enter 52523. Great. If I enter a non-digit, it's still 523. Exactly. That's how it should have been this whole freaking time. At least we figured it out now. Okay, so my regex was fine all along. Yay. We also need to update the field. Wait. So after we've handled these values, we also... Okay, this is where we update the field. So input value... Okay, perfect. So over here, I need to target those two elements, don't I? Break length and session length. Let's bring out these consts. Set these bad boys over here. If it is... If event.target.id is break length, so we know for a fact it is break length. So then we do break length.value becomes our input value, or our filtered input value, if you will. And then we do the same for the other one, which is session length. Session length.value is input value. So yeah. And see if we can clean it up afterwards, but that should be what's happening. So you enter anything larger than 60, you get 60. If you enter anything less than 1, you get 1. You try to get -1, you can't. You try to enter a number, you can't. Try to enter 13 and a D, you get 13 still. So it's filtered now. You basically can only enter the values that, you know, within the constraints between 1 and 60. Cool. That's working. You can easily use that, or you can use the default. Yeah. Okay, but now we have another issue. Break increment and break decrement is not... What is state currently? What is the value of state? Break length was 5, so why couldn't I... Why is that not working? Hold on. that because I entered something in the input? Oh, it is. So we can change that, but the moment I try to manually change it, can't change it anymore? Okay. The button is working. Let's go to handle click. All we do is set the ID to event.target.id, and then we call this.handlers with that ID, which should then call that function. So let's say it was break increment, we're setting state with max and min of 1 and 60, and then adjusting break length plus equal to 1 in that case. For y. Oh. Okay, because it's still a string. We never updated this to finally be an integer. So let's, after all this has been done, pass it as an integer. And then we're actually working with a number, because up until then we're actually working with a string. Forgot about that. Well, we did fix that, but I mean we had to backtrack a bunch. So it's now 53 with a D. Okay, can we increment? Okay, well we still can't increment. Even when we reset. Interesting. Wait, none of them are working that way. What? Okay, as long as I don't change them, they're fine. Oh. Break length is 7. Session length is 29. Okay, so they're definitely integers now. But for some reason, once we change them there, values don't change. And it's definitely calling the function, because that's why we're getting the spam of the event. What? And that value is an event, unless it's just... Oh. There we go. Figured it out. It is changing state, we're just not updating the display value. Okay, so after handle click. So because we're doing this so many times, I'm gonna create a new method called update. What do we have? We have update. We have update time. I wanna have one that's... I don't wanna... I guess we can have update display. Even though time display. And then we're gonna have these two. Those are the main things that need to change. So we're gonna have break length is that, session length is that, and then all we're doing is setting the values of each one to the state value. So break length dot value is equal to this dot state dot break length, and session length is dot value is equal to this dot state dot session length. If we end up adding another one, then I'm going to turn this into an object, but for now it can stay this way. And then we just call update display wherever we do those things. So over here, for example, where did I set the values? I did it here. So we can just call update display, preferably this dot update display. Actually, how many of these function calls can we chain? The set state you can have one. Can I chain another one onto that? Let's find out. This dot update display. That would be funny if you could do that. But I don't think it will. But maybe we'll be surprised and we find out. Okay. but we still need to figure out if it is working. So I need to add a little log here, because obviously we're not going to see the update in here because we're physically updating it ourselves. That's not a state update. The 52. Wait, what? Why is it letting me do this again? What broke now? Undo input. Input value is passed as an integer. What's going on now? Why can we suddenly... Is it because I added the this dot update display to it? Is that why? Is that why it broke now? It should give an error message at least. Don't tell me it was that. I think it's something... Yeah, it's not that. It's something else. Okay. What did we break? What did... Okay, let's just roll back a bit. What... The only thing that changed was these two consts, which should not matter at all, and the input values for them. Oh, I was updating the corrected values with them, of course. So that would matter. Okay. All that means is update display wasn't called. Okay, let's see now. Okay, update display is being called now. And now it's going back and forth between 5 and 2. Okay. How the hell did you get not a number? How did you manage that? That's amazing. I want to know every time this is being called. I want to figure out what's going on and why. That was bad. Okay, so when I enter something it gets called, but it also reverts it. Why? Because it gets called here, and update display. Wait. Are you serious? Okay. So all we're doing is setting break length value to this.state.breakLength, but we didn't get the updated value of break length yet. So in effect, it's resetting itself. So if anything, this needs to be after that call. That's the first issue here, but I think there's more to it than just that. Okay, now it's a bit delayed. And we still get not a number. I made it worse somehow. That's amazing. Just put the empty brackets. Do an arrow function. This.debug, this.update display if you want to. Can you do that? An arrow function in the callback function? Yeah, that would make actually sense, yeah, because you basically have a function calling two functions. That makes sense, yeah. I would do that, but I broke something else in somehow. How is it possible that we're getting not a number here? Event.target.value is going to replace every non-digits. And it will always be min 1 or max 60. If input value is greater than max, it's going to be max. If it's less than min, it's going to be min. Else it's going to be whatever it is. And this should strip everything. Okay, let's go back to getting the value of it. I want to get input value before and input value. And I also want to know what input value after this is. Alright, see what's going on. Okay, so 51. I don't get that 1 though. I'm not seeing it. Even though it does get it as 51 and 51. Then it got called. Break length is 51, but I physically didn't see it. It physically didn't update. I enter another one. And now it's 51 and 51. It's like there's a delay for whatever reason. I add a 1, it gets like chowed up. But I don't think it's this. I think it's the way this is being called. I know it's asynchronous, but I mean this should have completed way before this needed to be called. So I don't think it's that. Did I mess something up here? Break length.value is equal to this.state.break length. That is correct. And session length.value equal to this.state.session length. So that is fine. So we call update display. Okay, I'm gonna try with the arrow function. So we can call this.debug and just bring this over. Wait, which is the closing one for it now? Is this? Wait, this is the closing one for this. For the constructor, right? Where am I now? What do you belong to? What was it for the state? Okay, in that case. Wait, I'm so confused. Okay, if you're the closing one for that, then that needs to be there, and that needs to be there. Okay. No, something's still broken. What is broken? Where's the if, else? I'm missing a bracket. Arrow function. Closing of that bracket. I need one more on line 76. Do I? Oh, of course, because I'm not closing this actual... Right, yeah, thank you. Appreciate that. Okay, so it was that. It was the fact that there was a delay in the asynchronous call. Or just try to update it before state was set. In other words, so that helped. Having a call update display after it's done with the callback function seems to have fixed it. Okay, we still get not a number though. But don't tell me what not a number is. I need the actual value. So I'm going to remove parse integer so that I can see exactly what's going on. And I think I know what's going on. It's an empty string, and it doesn't know how to deal with that. 4, 5, 5, 60 now, 6 now. Okay. So it does become 1 after. It does become 1 after, so that's good. But then why are we getting not a number? How is it possible that we're getting not a number? Is 0 not a number? That can't be it. That would just be silly. That's not it. Oh, you think it's undefined? But it shouldn't be undefined if it's blank, should it? Let's see what happens. Parsing should be fine with an empty string, shouldn't it? Or not? Okay, there we go. We found the issue. It's because it's an empty string, which it will be. If it's empty. No, interesting. Okay. The amount that I'm learning today, it's crazy. So we're gonna do either event.target.replace. So it's either gonna be that, or we can do a logical or 0. I think that will solve the problem, right? Because then we'll never get not a number. We'll just get 0 every time. Yeah, there you go. You get 0. So the logical OR helps. We're still able to enter numbers greater than on the before. Oh, but obviously that would happen. We can actually like add a limit here in our regex, but it's fine. Or should I add in the regex? I wonder. What did you say, Flash? You should use plus number. I should use plus number. I mean, I could just use a logical OR like I've done here, right? So input value will either be that or 0. If there's not an error, we'll get that. If there is, we'll get 0. The reason I want to stick with this is because I want to build on this regex. I'm just trying to think, is there a way in regex that you can... Like, I know you can have a number between x and y. Like, you know, 0 to... or 1 to 59. But is there a way to have like a min or a max in regex? I think it would be pretty hard to do that, wouldn't it? What if I did 0 to 59 like that? Wait, why is it 0 to... Why is it 0 to 5? Did I mess it up? It's supposed to be 0 to 59. Oh, can we only do 0 to 9 at a time? Ah. And that's for an extra character. Well, actually it would have to be 1. So it would have to be 1. So if I entered 0, it wouldn't match. Problem is I need the value to be between 1 and 59, and obviously I can't add a 5, and that wouldn't matter either way. Because I will find the numbers. That's multiple. Yeah. I know they're not meant for that. You could do so many other things. I just thought if I can have everything in a single regex. Fine, I'll just stick to what I have now. It works. If the input value is greater than the max value, the input value is going to be max. Else if the input value is less than the min value, the input value is going to be the min. So that's going to be the simple cleanup we're going to do there. And yeah, state value. I'm happy with that. I just set state value to an object where break length is the key and input value, which we filtered up, is going to be the key, or the value, sorry. Yeah, you're right. It will be weird, probably. So I'll just leave it to that and have that if. So we don't need to log anymore, I think. I think we should be fine. Does it work as it should? I think it does. Let's see, what else is there that we test? We try to get less than that. The value is 0, but afterwards it becomes 1. State becomes 1. So we can never technically get 0 here. Here. And if I enter 0, state becomes 10. So we can never get state to be 0. And if I try to enter too much, it will just end up going to 60. And it sees it as 600, but obviously that's before we filtered it. So afterwards it becomes 60. So I think that's fine. Cool. And by the way, this is just something extra that I decided to add. It's not part of the requirements, but I don't know if you agree with me, but trying to, you know, click this button however many times just to increase your break length or session length. You'd have to like click it. The default is 25, so you'd have to click session increment by 35 if you wanted a full 60 minutes. And I just thought that that's a bit silly, so I decided to add this as a little extra so it's a bit easier. It makes it redundant, have either button, you know, or input, but I mean, if they're gonna force us, I'd rather add that as an optional. So all that needs to happen now is we need to call update display when we handle click. Like that. Cool. And then get rid of all of these calls. So that should now work, because obviously it wasn't working before. We added 52, and there we go. Now we can see it changing in the input. So if I have session at 41, okay, it didn't initialize at that value though. Oh, that's the break, right? Break length, never mind. If I set this to 23, there we go. Session length is 23. Increment session length to 31. Oh, 32 rather. And then it's 32. Can I change it while it's still busy to 13? Stop it, start it again. It doesn't affect it. Perfect, it's still got that timer of 31. I would assume when this runs out, session will start at 13 again, because that's what session length is at currently. Is there a way that we can test that? I want to like drain task session right now. Wait, if we get to a break... Wait, I know. Hold on. There's a way we can test this. Let us set... Initialize the timer to just 5 seconds. So we only have to wait 5 seconds. And where we switch tasks, where's switch task? We're going to have break to just be 5 seconds as well. So that I don't have to wait this long to debug this. Okay, so we got 5. We're going to start. So sessions on, 5 now. We're going to quickly change that to 13 for break length. Okay, so I didn't see break length. Okay, hold on. Let's do that again. Start. It's going to be 5 seconds. I'm going to make this 1. I changed that to 1 while it's still busy. Will it start session length at 1? Let's see. It did! Nice! And now let's make the break like 55. After waiting 50 seconds while I chat to you, Flesh. I'd be so tired of copying and pasting the code every time. I know. But since I can't work in a proper environment and have multiple files for this project, because I can only have a single... I basically have to have this on CodePen so I can submit it to them. And it just makes it easier. So I was just like, well, it's either that or deal with an environment where then afterwards I have to get a minified distribution that then I have to copy and paste anyway when I'm done. I guess you get used to it. So what do we expect now? Break length is 55. Once this session is done, it should give us a break of 55 and not 5 seconds. 55 minutes, that is. And if this works, then we are good. Task, break. Wait, was that before or after? Oh, never mind, it's never gonna get there. Okay, we're gonna assume it works. The reason it's never gonna get there is we've literally rigged break to be that long by default. I mean, I could do it this way to see if it works. Start, we got 5 seconds, quickly change it to 53. 53 break length. Does it give us a 53-minute break length? Yes! Cool! It's working. So now undo all these changes that I've made, save everything, and do one final check. 52, great. Get less than 1, great. Increment, great. Decrement, great. What? Shouldn't be able to go to 0 though. Shouldn't be able to do that. I know physically that state isn't 0. Yeah, there you go. I don't know how that's possible. How's it going to... How? What is state though? If I run it now? Wait, so this is session. If I run, is it going to be... No, it's going to be 1. Because they both 1, but then why do I see 0? Why am I seeing 0? This is setting state plus equal to 1 and minus equal to 1. So long as... This should check out though. Math and min. 60 and 1. That makes no sense. This would never make state go to 0. So how is state getting to 0? State never gets to 0. And seconds went to minus 0 there for a second, which should never happen either. 4, 3, 2, 1. Why did it go to minus 0? How does that work now? Can I do 0 point? No, I can't. Okay. Sure. I have 2 things that I need to figure out what's going on now. 1. Why am I able to go to 0? This was never a thing before. Oh. Is handle change being called? Is handle input being called? Input value before? No, it's not. Okay, so we know it's not handle input being called, but the update display is being called. An update display. Wait, did you see that? Ah. Okay. Let's update display. Gets the value, whatever value is there, and it sets it to the state's value. Something to do with this. I just can't put my finger on it right now. It allows me to go to 0, but that's physically impossible. Okay, I think it's got something to do with where we call update display. And I don't think it'll make a difference if we call it before. Man, just when I thought we were getting somewhere. I'm sure it's a small thing, but I can't really think right now. I need to go. Let's see what's going here. Okay, so I think I'm gonna have to figure this out tomorrow, to be honest. Cause like I'm just staring at it now and I can't put my finger on it. Break length here. Let's say we come in with 23. And is it greater than 60? It's not greater than 1. Otherwise, set the break length plus equal to 1. Why is update display breaking it? That's handle click every time we hit the click key. Where else is update display called? In the handle input. The callback function. So this one's fine. It's this one that's the issue. Oh my god. Don't make me actually like call this .update display every time as a callback for one of these. Let's try it though with break increments. If I remember correctly, we had it set up here, didn't we? Yeah, we did. And break decrement. Let's go ahead and do that. Let's see what happens. This is break. There we go. Okay, so that fixed it on the callback value. So now we know what the issue was. Okay. Great stuff. Okay. Am I using React? I see set state everywhere, but I haven't seen anything else about React. I think I am. No, just kidding. So I got my class here, which is a React component, and over here at the end, sorry, you wouldn't see it because I'm busy working on the functions. Over here we're rendering out our component. We got our main div. I mean, you would have seen this. I think I've been here before. Maybe you just didn't see part of it. And then we returning our little Pomodoro, which we inject into the root. So yeah, we're using React. Not a lot of it, but we're also using life cycles. Life state. Why can't I say anything today? State, life cycles, component life cycles. Where when the component mounts, we have our event listeners and some values, and when it unmounts, we actually remove those. Did I add extras? No, I didn't. Just those two. Cool. Perfect. Yeah, don't stress about that. I just need to figure out now if there's a better way than having to pass this as a callback function every time in this .set state. I don't think there is. At least we found the solution. So I'm happy for that. So over here we're gonna add one there, and we're gonna add one there. There we go. So we got our callback functions. Actually, we could check that that was the issue. Simply, it only works with break length. When you go here and you go down, it increments and decrements, perfect. But then for session, well, session we didn't even call because we didn't even update this thing. For session, if I go 2, 2, 3, there we go, and we can never go to 0 and we can't go above 60. Great. Now the only thing that was concerning me was the fact that it seemed to go to -0 at one point. And that bothers me a little. I mean, 0 is still 0, negative, you know, -0. Was it here? Initialize timer? Yes, it was. Let's set a 5-second timer on here. Let's set a 5-second timer on the switch task. Down here. On the break. And then let's set the session back to 5 seconds. And then just have a loop of 5 seconds and see what's happening. Okay, so 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Okay. Okay, 0 again. Maybe that was just something that I changed. I got -0 probably. Okay, cool. So it's working. Do we do negatives? I think I did try. Negative value? No, that doesn't work. Perfect. Let's undo these changes. Cool. Every time you call setState, React will call the render function once it updates the state. Yeah, I know that. And that will update everything down there. Okay, so if you're using React, you shouldn't have to update the view. Do you mean the do you mean these things? Is that what you're referring to? The input values, right? Oh, I see what you mean. So instead of calling update display, I could just have them have a default value and it should display that, right? Wait, where do I have that? I have that on break length. The break length is an input. It has a default value of states value. Oh, I should set the value to that, shouldn't I? No, but if I set the value to that, I can never change it, can I? So how would I update break length, for example? Default value is states value, but after that, it's the user's input value, and thereafter, every time it changes, I update the input value. I think I need to look at controlled input again. I did something like that before. Controlled input. Because if I set it to the states value now, I won't be able to change it, will I? Let's just try. Let's see what happens. I don't think I'll be able to change it, but I mean, I can try. See what happens. Maybe I can. Oh, I can. So I shouldn't have to... Okay, so that works. So I can actually update it like that. So if that is true, the value is this.state.break length. I won't have to call my update update function anymore, will I? Update display. So that means we can undo all of this. Call this.debug. And then that should still work the same, theoretically. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's exactly what I was doing. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm working on right now. I just have to go and freaking get rid of all the... I had no idea. I thought that every time I try to change it, it's just going to revert it back to the states value without taking into consideration my input first. Let's see what happens. Yeah, seems to be working. Wow. Wow. Thank you so much, Flash. That makes it so much easier. I literally don't... I don't need update display at all. I thought I was missing something. That's probably why you were asking me, are you using React? Because I mean, not really. It's supposed to be easier than that, isn't it? That makes it so much better, thank you. No, I don't have to worry. React does for me. I think I'm so used to doing things manually in oh, what happened there? Why is this, why am I allowed to, why is this one allowed to, why is this, oh, we didn't set value, right. I think I'm so used to doing things manually before React that I want to do everything that React's already, you know, doing for you. So where do I have this again? Break there, session length. So value is equal to this dot state dot session length, and default value is this dot state. Do I need a default value then? If value is always going to be, you know, state's value, do I need a default value? Doing things manually is great to learn, but then when you use a framework, yeah, exactly. I agree 100%. Before you know a framework, you should know how to do things, you know, naturally in whatever language you work in the framework. But afterwards, you should definitely be using the frameworks to the, you know, full capacity. And yeah, I don't need a default value, so I thought. I'm gonna remove that. There we go. Thank you so much for that though. I'm gonna remember that. The nice thing about all these projects is I always refer to them. I don't know if you noticed, like early in my session, I always go back to them because there's always something that I did, and that's what helped me, you know, with the regex, for example. So I will come back to this, and it'll be something that I can, you know, look back on and be like, oh yeah, I did it that way, or like, no, I don't need to do that. So beautiful. Flash 38, thank you once again. Really appreciate it. There's probably a whole lot of other things that I can change, but you know, it's the small steps. I mean, I didn't know about how I could use operators, logical operators, so the logical OR before, and now I use it. So I mean, I guess it's, you know, the small things that you take in each time. I want this to be ID, but it bothers me, so I think I'm going to have it as element ID. I don't want to confuse it with ID, have someone else confused. Every time you wrote get element by ID, you most likely don't need it, really? Oh, nice. So how could I change it? Let's find an instance of that. So let's say I needed to reset. I have a element called timeUp, right? It's a HTML5 audio tag. And what I need to do with it is basically pause it and set the current time to 0. Right now I have to specify document get element by ID beep, right? And then that's timeUp. So I go timeup.pause, timeup.current time. Is there a different way then that I could do that? Or is this one of those very special cases? In your JSX, current runtime equal to this dot state dot timer current time. Oh. Then you update timer current time with set state. I'm gonna add this as a note from you, literally directly in my file, so that I can work on this tomorrow. And I'm gonna do all of that tomorrow. There's only one thing before I go that I'm trying to figure out why when I was testing it before, seconds remaining was always perfectly 0. But now I'm noticing in my log it's -0. I mean, it's still the same, 0 is 0, right? But why the change? What do you think might have, like, offset that? Probably some weird rounding issue. Okay, yeah, fair enough. The only thing that I do, and this is why I keep it so simple, this is why I find it strange. If this.state.seconds is greater than 0, set state seconds to this.state.seconds minus equal to 1. Do you see what I mean? So I find it hard. It's still 0. 0 is 0. It would be -1 if there was an issue. Do you think it's just the internal JavaScript thing? Did I just round up? Yeah, that's why I'm finding it weird. That's why I don't know if it's maybe an internal thing. I always happen to find these weird quirks. So I'm going to test it one more time before I go now. And if it's 0, I'm going to just fuming, because it's weird that it's inconsistent. It almost seems to only happen when I click the buttons after I change this. So all I did now was I didn't click any buttons. I literally just changed the input values. And we'll see what happens now. 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Oh my god. And then switch task. All switch task does is, if the task is session, the task is now break. And seconds is going to be break length times 60. Else, if it's session, session length is now times 60. And yeah, so it can't be that. All we're doing is updating the time over and over. Ah, who knows. Let's run the test one more time, see if I've broken something, which I probably have. And thank you so much for all those tips. I really appreciate them. They're gonna help me write better code. So if there's anything more that you have that you'd like to add, you can feel free to do so. Okay, we passed all the tests at least. It really bothers me that it's -0. And I know that...
Flash38 is following the family.
Flash38. Thank you so much for the follow. I really appreciate it. And the worst thing is that -0 is 0. That's what I was saying, you know, -0 is 0. There is no two ways about it. So technically it's still the same, you know what I mean? Whether you're seeing 0 or negative 0, they're both the same thing. I guess I like consistency. Why am I seeing 0 one moment and negative 0 the next? So I guess I'm going to chalk that up to JavaScript. Firefox, maybe? The way that it renders? No idea. But we passed the tests. And the test would have picked something up if there was something weird going on. So I guess it's safe to ignore it. That's not the only weird thing about JavaScript at all. Exactly. Like, what was it? 0.1 plus 0.2 is 0.300 and the 4 at the end? Instead of just being 0.3? Not a number equal to not a number. It's false because they're not the same types. Because it's not a number evaluating to a number, I guess. Oh. Wait. No, how do I undo? Let y equal to... You sure it's a constant? Okay, fair enough. So many oddities, so many things to work with. Yay, JavaScript. One day I'll be in a strong type language like C# or something, C++. Thank you for everything, Flesh38. I really appreciate it. I need to be off now. I can't wait to finish up the last few bits of this. I'm gonna go through this code one more time tomorrow. I'm gonna implement your suggestions for this, because that's really clever. Then I don't have to use document.getElementBy. I need to really avoid doing that. And just basically write pure React. But yeah, that's for tomorrow. I can't wait. Until then, bye for now.